they will rise as one.
And welcome down to the field, soccer fans. I'm Patrick Kelly alongside Matt Bird for the opening game of the season for the St. Louis Ambush. And Matt, an exciting start for the Ambush so far, starting 1-2. They got a big chance tonight against Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City and St. Louis Ambush are both 1-2 on the season, and it's going to be a make-out game for either team, whoever can get the win tonight, Patrick. Kansas City have typically always had our number, but we do, you know. We've got to try and get as far away from KC as possible. You know, they're very experienced. They know how to win close games. So we have to take the initiative in this game and build as big a lead as possible, I feel.
The Ambush are already starting off very well. Have a lot of new additions that have already contributed a lot to the team so far, and they're going to be looking to do the same tonight.
Well, I think we saw last season that Everton tried to implement more of a futsal philosophy. He went down to Sao Paulo in the off-season, tried to bring in a couple of guys with more futsal experience. I think it'll take them a while, Patrick, to get used to the boards and the traditional indoor game that we know. But as they mature, as they get more experienced, I think that will only benefit this team. He went down there, he didn't bring up guys that played in rec leagues. He's brought back guys that have won 4 and 5 national championships in Brazil, and that can only be a benefit to this team.
Casey Clark gained the 3 starts for the beginning of the season for the Ambush, but now Paulo healthy. He's going to get the start tonight. That's a big boost for the squad.
Well, we all saw what Paulo can bring. It took him a while last year, you know, to get used to the angles, the boards, the rebounds, you know, coming from that futsal environment. But towards the middle of the season, he started getting to grips with it. Paulo's an excellent goalkeeper, we know that, and we're all welcoming back. But I think what's lost in this is just how well Casey Clark has improved with training with Paulo every week. We saw that in the first 3 games of the season when Casey Clark came in and this team didn't miss a beat.
And of course, Kansas City coming off 3 games in 4 nights is going to be very tough for them. What are the Ambush going to have to do to get the win tonight?
As again, take the initiative, get out to an early lead and hold it and close this game out.
All right, that's it for us down on the field. We're going to send it up to Brian for the rest of the pregame festivities, and we'll have the broadcast for you shortly.
And welcome into the Family Arena, ladies and gentlemen, for this home opener for the St. Louis Ambush against the visiting Kansas City Comets. I'm Patrick Kelly alongside Matt Bird. And Matt, a great start for the Ambush so far. Got a lot of new faces on this team, including Antonio Manford, who almost is recording a point per game in his indoor soccer career.
And he comes to us with a lot of experience. Obviously, he played with Syracuse last year, but he's a winner. He won the NPSL, which is the de facto 3rd division of American soccer, with AFC Cleveland a couple of years ago. We actually played in St. Louis in the Open Cup against St. Louis FC a couple of years ago. So when we signed him, I was very excited. Storied player, and we know what he brings to the table. But I'm actually more excited by some of the other new guys that we brought in, like Douglas DeSantos. Again, he's played at Chicago. He came to us from Harrisburg last year. Experienced, proven producer in this league.
And the Ambush for the 2nd straight season went down to Brazil for open tryouts. They got Paulo out of that deal last year going down there, and they come back this year with a couple more additions.
Well, as I said in the pregame, that is a philosophy that Everton wants to foster here, is the futsal, the fast one-touch, kick and move, pass and rush. And I think it'll take a while for his philosophy to embed again, but he's brought another couple of guys in from open tryouts. One other guy who's got multiple championships in futsal down in Brazil, and that's Maggie Souza. But Felipe came in through open tryouts, Mario Marcos came in through open tryouts, so they'll bring a bit of flair. We all know the Brazilians can play football, goodness knows. But it'll take them a little bit to get used to the boards and the angles and just the traditional indoor game as we know it. But that's the philosophy, that's the course that Everton's taking. And I think last year you saw this team get better, and I think that's why he wants to see this again this season. We're not expecting this team to win a championship this year. We're looking for incremental improvements every single week.
Well, I think one thing we saw towards the end of last season, or all of last season rather, and then what was reflected in that first game was the mentality of never quitting. You know, in that first game against Orlando, the ambush would score, Orlando answered right back, but they never gave up, and eventually paid off for them in the end.
I don't think they've given up in any game, especially last year. The problem is they've had a lot of close games, and last year, more often than not, they'd lose that close game by 1 goal, or they'd let a lead slip right at the end and it cost them in overtime. They have to find a way to make sure they come out on the winning side of these close games. They've got to find a way to close out games. They've got to find a way to win tight games.
They're going back down to the field. The starting goalies, it's going to be for the KC Comets, Brett Petracek. He's 1-2 so far in the season, 56 shots allowed with 23 goals allowed. He's going to be...
Brett comes into this team. He played with Cedar Rapids last year, I think if the Comets were looking to improve this season, it wasn't goal. And I think they've done that, and they're going to be a lot tougher team this year than the KC Comets that we played last year. So whilst I'll agree that we've improved, we've brought in a couple of good players, every team in the league has improved. So, you know, we've got to keep pace, and you know, we'll see what happens tonight, but it should be a good game. I think this is a breakout game for both teams. We're both 1-2, and a win tonight could really propel us going forward in the season.
And the Comets playing 3 games in 4 nights as they won in Mississauga 12-6, and then lost last night to Milwaukee in Kansas City by the score of 10-8. As he's going to restart, Paulo in net. You can see that he was nursing an injury the past couple of games, but he's getting his first start tonight in the ambush uniform.
Well, he's been just put into the Lions tonight. He's one of the biggest crowds, I've got to say, that I've seen at the Family Arena in quite some time. So word is getting out that Everton's putting together a decent team here. I just hope that they can deliver on the pitch, and I'd like to see a lot more home wins this year. I think if you can send this crowd happy 50% of the time, they'll keep coming back.
As the ambush are going to grab the loose ball at midfield, it's Stinson knocking off the boards. Everton in the corner with it. Look to give it right back to Stinson. It's going to be intercepted, though, by KC, and it's going to be Williams moving forward. Try the long lead pass for Stokic. Gets that knocked away from him, and then appears we're going to have a foul on the ambush, and it's going to be on Everton. He's just going to go for a change, send out Gibson.
Everton didn't play in the first couple of games. He came on as a kind of goalkeeper on the fly when we were down heavy against Florida, but he's also been nursing an injury, and what a goal that was. Leo Gibson.
Well, we saw that last year with Milwaukee, and now Leo Gibson, his 5th goal of the year, with an unbelievable bicycle kick right in the box, just beats Paulo on the short side.
Paulo didn't know that was coming. I didn't know that was coming. We didn't know that was coming. That just came out of nowhere. What an acrobatic play that was by Leo Gibson. You see, with Andre Haynes' goal against Milwaukee last year, we all knew that was going to come. He set himself up, he's back to goal. We knew that was going to come. Here's the replay now. He just came out of nowhere. No way can he score from there.
Just a one-timer right off the bat. Didn't settle it at all. That's just perfectly placed.
He came off the outside of his right boot, overhead kick. He could not have hit that any better. My goodness. Well, what a start to the season here at Family Arena.
The ambush down early. It's McGee, one of the new additions for this ambush squad. Gives it back to Paulo. Now a long feed all the way up to Gibson as he's sporting a white beard tonight. Quickly gets it down low. Try to get it in front to Adamson, but it's going to go through the field and then knocks off a KC player on the bench. It's going to be a restart. KC got the ball. As it's Nacho Flores. Try the long lead pass, not able to get there. Then it's stolen right back by KC. Right back over to Gibson, and a good shot, but a leg save by Paulo. And another block. That time by Felipe. He's just going to let it float down right to Paulo.
I think the arena's all shook from that goal. I mean, what a goal that was by Gibson. And we know we can do that. I mean, again, we talk about proven producers in this league. He's actually 5th goal of the season already.
Ambush with a good try to center in the front to Reget. Played on the practice squad for the ambush last year, made his way up. He's played in all 3 games for the ambush so far. Already has 2 goals.
I think the ambush fans love that. You know, they see a guy, a youth product, come through the system somewhat. The same with JT Thomas.
There's a steal for the ambush, and Reggett almost had his 3rd goal of the season, but a good save by Petracek. Gibson now against the board. Knocked off the ball. Reggett, no fouls. He moves in, gets it over to Clayton. Clayton cuts the middle and tries a shot. That's how he scored the overtime goal last year for the Ambushes. That's going to be a foul on Togba.
We talk about players coming in, but, you know, Clayton's like a new signing. I mean, he came in last year, played, I don't know, maybe a third of the season, and then he had that really bad cruciate ligament injury and then put him out for the rest of the season. So this is the first time we've seen him in 8-9 months. He's like a new signing coming in this team, and we know what he can bring.
I talked to him before the game. He said he's absolutely 100%. Stiffness, any pain that he had has been gone for months. So he is 100% as a one-timer by the ambush. That's just going to fly right over the net.
Reggett looks up for this. He looks lively already. You know, he's come in, put a couple of shots out there. That one went obviously too high, but he looks eager.
Casey tries to push it forward to no avail. Now Manfield using his speed, gets into the box, goes into Petracek. Casey's going to be able to come away with it. No fouls as it goes all the way up to Leo Gibson. Nice little give and go. Paulo way out of his net. Now it's a wide open net, and they're going to get their 2nd goal of the game. It's Keel Williams with his 2nd on the year, and just like that, it's 2-0. Barely 4 minutes into this game.
Number 11, Kyle Williams.
Between the 2 goals, it was all ambush.
Leo Gibson. Williams from Gibson.
So Gibson and Williams with the goals. And just like that, the ambush are 2-0 now.
Paulo cheating way out of his net. Thought he had it, but just a good move by Williams. Is barely to the side, and he had nothing but net in front of him.
Now the ambush, the game plan has changed slightly. They still have to play their game. They're still early in this game. We saw last year, you know, the ambush was 6-0 up against KC. They were able to come back. It's still early. There's plenty of time left. Play your game.
And as you said, besides those 2 goals, it has been all ambushes, constantly putting pressure in the KC zone. As that's Pepe trying to knock it away. Pushing forward will be Nacho Flores, but it's going to be a foul on Pepe. So the restart for KC at midfield. You're going to get it over to the far side, Williams.
But with the KC Comets having played 3 games in a short space of time, they'll be looking to soak up pressure. They'll be looking to make the ambush do the running and hit the ambush on the break. And that's exactly their game plan so far.
Gibson about to be double teamed as Manfoot was closing on him. Able to move it back to the defense. That's Nacho. Trying to get over to Metingo. Now Petracek. And moving out of his net. Now a new rule in the MASL this year that the goalkeeper is not allowed to go past the midfield mark until the 4th quarter. But he is allowed to throw it past 2 lines, so kind of moving the rules around to still keep the goalies in it.
But that we saw last year how Paulo likes to get forward. He likes to take a shot. He likes to be a kind of sweeper keeper, so to speak. But we'll have to see how he can adapt to having to, stay home, so to speak.
There's still Santos try to kick it forward just over Gibson's head. Togba racing after it under a lot of pressure, though, able to get back to his keeper. On the near side, Robert Palmer right back to Petracek. He's going to be intercepted by Dos Santos on the near side. Drops it for Stinson. Stinson looking towards the corner. He's pushed down against the boards. That's going to be a foul on Kansas City.
That was on number 51, Robert Palmer, his 1st of the half.
So Adamson's going to start it for the ambush.
They have to start making the set plays are going to be important here, Patrick. Every opportunity the ambush have got to get a shot on goal, they've got to take.
Off the boards, trying to get in. Gibson on the back door, but cleared out by the Comets. Now the loose ball all the way back going to be picked up by McGee. Nice spin around, and he's going to use some speed, pushing forward. Gets it to Adamson. Adamson off the board, sends it in front. Now Reget, a chance and a great save there by Petracek.
What a save. Set up nicely for Reget.
Fresh off the bench is Clayton. Cuts towards the middle and gives it to Corey Adamson. He's also coming off the bench is Felipe. Over to Adamson, the veteran for this ambush squad. And now Clayton. Lifts it into the corner. Reget pushed off the ball, able to stay with it though. He's double teamed and then Casey's going to take over. Able to get to the defense. 8.5 to play as Casey pushes it forward for Leo Gibson. Gibson being pressured by McGee. Tried to bring it around the boards, but a good save by Paulo. Now it's loose in front, and Williams is going to get his second of the game. There's a bit of a scramble in the box, and they're able to just kick that right by Paulo, and it's 3-0 Kansas City.
And whilst we're saying that the ambush have had a fair amount of possession, I do think Kansas City have done more with theirs. You know, they look a little bit more measured, their touches are a little bit better, their passes are a little bit crisper, and we're seeing that now with the scoreline. The first goal was superb, the second goal was standard, and that last goal was a little lucky. They kind of got a bounce their way, but you know, sometimes the ball goes your way and you find yourself 3-0 up. And KC are good value for this lead right now, even though, as I say, the ambush have had their fair share of possession. They haven't really done as much with it, and they find themselves in quite the hole now.
It's knocked off the sideboards, trying to find Everton. That's going to be pushed forward by KC. Manfoot pressuring closely. As Nacho just back to his keeper. Quickly up to Palmer. That's Ramon Palmer. Loses it, then Gibson has it lost by Manfoot. Hard off the boards. Finds Everton. Some good ball movement by the ambushes. They were trying to get to Dos Santos, but that bounces off his foot. And quickly the other way is Anthony Grant. Grant on the far side. Good slide tackle by Manfoot. And there's going to be a foul, I believe, is going to be on KC.
The ambush got kind of lucky there, to be honest. Quite easily be 4-0 here. But we spoke to Mark Litton before the game, and he said one thing that he was concerned about was some of the new players coming in, especially like Zach Brigette. You know, they've not played in front of 4,000 people before. You know, this is new for them, and they may get nervous. And this is a new thing for a lot of these ambush players. Pressure to the game, and with it being the home opener, and I think we're seeing that the ambush need to settle down, pass the ball, get used to the ball.
The ambush back in their defensive end. Go back with it, then give it to Paulo. They make line changes as it's given up to McGee. McGee with some speed takes a shot, and that ball is loose in front for Reget. That's going to be cleared to the side by Rodriguez.
Good way back by McGee. Outside of the foot shot. It wasn't particularly fast, but it caused Petracek some trouble.
And Lucas Almeida fresh off the bench. Gets it down low. Reget has a chance and then takes the shot, but the defender got back. And Reget looks hurt, and he's slow to get up. He's going to stay out there. Axel Duarte is just going to send it all the way back, give it a chance for Reget to get off the field.
Holding his groin, I think he may have just tweaked the groin.
And it's Stinson. Stinson off the boards for Everton. Everton looking to knock off the boards, instead cutting towards the middle. Drops it back. Dos Santos hard off the glass. And a rebound by Stinson. It's blocked in front by the Comets. Dos Santos again. Oh, Lucas Almeida. Almeida cuts to center. And a good drop for Stinson. The miscommunication. The ambush keep possession though.
This is good for the ambush. Pass it around. Settle down. Don't chase the game yet. There's still, there's still 3 quarters to go.
McGee again. Almeida now moving forward. Felipe takes a hard shot. That's going to go into the netting. Be KC's ball.
It was a pattern in the first 3 games, though. We've got to start keeping these shots down. Every single time they'd be in a good shooting position against Florida, against Orlando, against Harrisburg, it seems that they would sky the ball over. We've got to work on the shooting. They're getting good looks at goal. We've got to put them on frame. It's no good working the ball for 30 seconds to create a great opportunity if you're skying the ball over. It seems simple, I know, just keep the ball on frame, but they're getting the time, but they're taking snapshots. They're thinking, oh no, we're 3-0 down, we've got to get a goal. Take your time, settle down, play your game. In that last 2 minutes there, the ambush were passing it around, making Kansas City chase the ball. They played 3 games in 4 days. 3 games in 4 days. They're going to get tired. Make them chase this game.
Well, that's one thing I've noticed from the ambush so far in this game is that they are keeping constant line changes and making sure they have fresh feet out there and hopefully eventually just start to wear down KC because they know they are tired. There's nowhere they're not.
But I think, Ken Rodved, he's a wily old coach. He'll have known last night that he had a game today. He'll have adapted that Milwaukee game with an eye on this. He knows that tonight's game for them is eminently more winnable than playing against Milwaukee. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's rested a couple of his big guns for tonight.
It is a big game as this is the first of 6 matchups between St. Louis and Kansas City as they're part of the new South Central Division that's going to feature these 2 teams along with Florida, Milwaukee, and Orlando. So already playing 1 game against Florida and Orlando, we're going to see a lot more of them this year.
KC's a good team, Milwaukee's a good team, Florida have come out the traps flying. This is going to be a very hard division. And the next 3 games for the ambush are all against KC. 2 here and 1 in Silverstein Arenas. We have to get something from these 3 games. Otherwise we start losing touch.
Gibson trying to push that through, but Paulo shut the door on him as they drop it back. A good shot that just went wide. Now Gibson again. That went well wide. They're just going to drop it back to Togba. And Gibson couldn't get past Axel Duarte, and it's going to be lifted high in the air by Felipe. Nobody around for the ambushers. It's going to bounce into the KC bench.
Well, Leo Gibson came to play today, didn't he?
Oh, absolutely. There's Nacho with it. Gets it back for Petracek. As you mentioned, 2 games here, 1 game in KC. The next game is going to be Saturday, December 22nd at KC at 7. And then these 2 teams will play again right back here on December 29th. As Clayton, with a lot of open space, gets it down low. Felipe hard off the boards, and Reagan with a great chance, just couldn't get all of that as he was on the back door looking for that open shot.
I think he came to him a little too quick, and here comes KC again with all the space.
And try to get something going as ball just slipped away from them. And Felipe will restart it. Clayton with a lot of space to work with, getting his team set up as the ambush makes some changes as they transition from defense to offense. They're going to hold on the board a little more.
Comets are being defensively sound, very disciplined, keeping their shape. They know they've got the lead. They don't have to chase the game right now.
4 guys up top, only 1 guy down on Everton. Now they break a bit more as Pepe pushes forward. Off the boards, Everton, and it was given in front, then almost an own goal by KC, but a good header by Petracek to clear that away. Not out of the danger area yet as Manfoot winds up a big boot that hits the glass wide. He's going to grab his own rebound though. And does this guy have wheels as he gets his pocket picked, and that's going to go right back to KC. Nacho thought about sending it all the way down the field, but we're going to have a whistle. That's from the off-field official that blew the whistle. They're going to go over and discuss something that's wrong, perhaps something with the field.
And we have a 2-minute bench penalty to the Kansas City Comets for too many men on the field.
Well, too many men on the field for the Kansas City Comets. That's going to be a 2-minute extra man advantage for the ambush. And if they need something to go their way, it's a power play right now. Big 2 minutes here in the game for the St. Louis ambush.
So far in the power play this year, the ambush 0 for 4. Meanwhile, though, on the PK, Kansas City only 3 of 7 have been stopped. So a big opportunity here as they could change momentum with a big goal.
Again, Kansas City are going to set themselves up very disciplined, very tight.
For too many men on the field. And the ambush goes on a Farmers Insurance, Mark Arnold Agency, power play!
As Leo Gibson's going to serve the penalty for KC, as ambush will have to be wary of that.
They're letting Leo Gibson sit in the bench sit in the box so we can have a rest, I think.
Yeah.
What a thorn in the side of the ambush he's been this first period.
Clayton, push up against the boards now, double teamed, able to cleanly get back to Everton. Further, Almeida. Back for player coach Everton. Clayton for Almeida, winds up in a big shot, and that's gonna head over the net as well, as they're just looking for that big boot on the far side.
Almeida was, for me, I know Corey Adamson was our top scorer last year, but for me, Almeida was our biggest threat.
A big dual threat is a foul on KC as
Foul number 51.
Robert Palmer pushes off him his second.
Of the half.
Pauly just touches it forward for Almeida, and he'll charge forward. Gets to Everton, left for Clayton. Clayton tried to spin around shot. It bounced off his foot, and it's going to pop back towards Everton. Over to Almeida, Adamson on the far side, and Almeida again. Ambush doing a good job of setting up, making just smart, short passes.
Now, there's still a minute to go in this power play. They've got time. But again, it's no good if you look for that open opportunity and then you blast it skyward.
Everton took a shot that was blocked. He had 2 men in front, though, as it goes back for Almeida. Now Clayton charging forward. For Everton, takes a shot with 1 minute left, and that's going to go well wide, hit the netting. And another restart for KC with just 42 seconds remaining on their penalty kill. So they have to work on getting the door open. And they finally do over in the corner.
So the ambush are getting looks. You know, they're creating things. They're having opportunities.
And we have
The final product just isn't there right now.
We have
And that's how it's been, you know, the first 3 games.
official timeout on the field. As with just 42 seconds left, what is the ambush? What do the ambush need to do on this power play that they have not been doing so far in the first minute 20 seconds?
They've not been able to break down the defense. You know, they have not been able to get behind the defense, make space for themselves. All the space they've found and able to be able to shoot have been from distance, and that's why we've seen shots go up. They need to get closer to goal. They need to be able to pass behind the defense, find runners in the corners, and full marks for the Comets. They've set themselves up perfectly. They've been very hard to reach. And not only that, but KC, when they've managed to come out of the trenches somewhat, they've been very quick. The counter-attack has been crisp, the passes have been superb, and the shots have been on the way. Honestly, it's been a perfect first period for the KC
Our
Comets.
fundraising
They'll be
program gives back
absolutely delighted.
45% profit. We have a personalized website that we will set up for your group or team. This allows for real-time sales where you can go in and pay with a credit card or PayPal account. This eliminates your team having to collect the money and really simplifies things for everybody in the whole fundraising process. We also have a pizza meter and leaderboard. Every time a sale is made, your name is going to show up on a leaderboard that helps drive a little inner competitiveness between each team member.
Could be Petrocek
Came after my mom and dad, Andy and Dorothy. Would you come and try our product? The quality of the product you're going to find out is unlike any other pizza product out there.
If you have any questions or are ready to get started on a fundraiser, please reach out to us at www.andoropizza.com or on our phones at 636-332-9005. Let's go, ambush!
That just wastes a couple more seconds of the power play for Kansas City.
You're just going to keep it back now, trying to push it forward into the corner. Good playing by Felipe. He's going to leave for Axel Duarte. Paulo has to work it out of his own end with just 20 seconds left on the power play. Clayton with some speed. Cuts towards the middle of the field. Now has to slow down as he drops it for Almeida. Now Everton with 10 seconds remaining on the power play. In it for Pepe. Or Clayton rather, as it goes over to Everton. Back to Almeida. He's pushed away by the KC player, and Gibson's out of the box. We're back at even strength. As Almeida knocks down Togba. No call, though, as Everton knocking it down into the corner. Clayton racing after it. It's going to be Almeida there first, but still tied up. Now Clayton getting knocked down as the clock will expire. So after the first quarter, Kansas City leads the ambush 3-0. But the ambush are not out of this game in the least. They're keeping just constant pressure. Just not able to get those good looks.
Again, I've been saying it all through the first quarters. They're getting opportunities. Just the final product isn't there. The shots they're kind of snapping at the shots rather than taking measured shots. You know, and when you snap at a shot, you lean back, the foot goes high, and the ball goes skyward.
Orange is my favorite color, so that team's getting that delicious Honduras on pizza, and you can
But a couple of positives. I thought Reggett looked good. You know, he had a couple of opportunities. I think there was one that he will look back on and wish he could take back again. Petrocek had to take a heck of a save to stop one of his shots. There was one that bounced off the boards where he just didn't have time to react. But Reggett's got behind the back line a couple of times, so he'll be looking to improve going forward. But I think that the ambush haven't settled down in this game at all. But whether the occasions got to them a little bit, they need to put their foot on the ball and be a little bit more measured in their approach. Get used to playing the ball at their feet. Start finding blue shirts, crisper passes. They've had a lot of the ball, but they haven't really done too much with it. And every time the KC Comets have got the ball, you can see the purpose, you can see what they're trying to do. The counter-attacking from KC has been absolutely superb. And we have to talk about that first goal. My goodness.
Hey, at this time,
he could do that 20 times, he'll never do that again. And maybe that's not giving Leo Gibson enough credit, but it surprised me, it surprised you, it surprised Paolo. He could not have hit that any better, and it's such an acute angle as well. I don't think Paolo even thought he'd have the audacity to try it, let alone be able to score from it. But again, three quarters to go. One goal can change this game, it can be 3-1. What they can't do is concede the next goal, because 4-0 starts looking like Mount Everest, and it's very difficult to climb Mount Everest.
Well, Kansas City in this building last year came back from a 6-0 lead, so it's not impossible. The Ambush absolutely, as we just said, are not out of this game. They're still pushing forward.
The game last week against Harrisburg, the Ambush found themselves in a hole. You know, they were 4-1 down, 3-0 down, 5-2 down, and they managed to bring it back to 6-6. I do think the Ambush, when they're kind of like a cornered animal, they do start fighting. They do start scrapping. I think that's a testament to the character that Everton's trying to instill here. But it shouldn't get to the point where you are 3-0 down. You know, it shouldn't take the point to be 3-0 down and then starting to play.
You know, one thing going from last year into this year was talking about how much easier it's going to be for the returning players, that they already know Everton's system and they don't need to learn what to play into. How do you feel over the past couple games and tonight these new players have adjusted to Everton's style of play?
A lot of the new players, though, aside from Douglas and Antonio, a lot of these players coming from Brazil know his style of play. Everton wants to play that style of play. It's going to take them a bit of time, as I say, to get used to the balls and the angles and the three-line rules and so on and so forth. But essentially, it's still a ball, it's still a goal. And the game is still a simple game. So in that respect, it shouldn't be too different. But I do think it'll take them time to get experience playing the US game.
The ambush quickly send it down with a purpose as Gibson in the corner. Nice job to spin around, and Pepe was in front. Those just knocked aside by Stokic. And he's just going to clear that all the way down. Pepe out of his net to play it.
I also get the feeling with the ambush that they need a goal just to break the seal. Just to score that first home goal of the season. Just break the seal, and then we can go from there. And here's Gibson now, and he's whipped on it, and he's brought down, is he?
Yes, he is.
And that's another blue card.
We've got a penalty coming up against Kansas City.
And I don't know if Gerger thinks that's against him. He's going down.
I think that was against Rodriguez, but
he definitely initiated the contact. But one thing Gibson was talking about before this season when talking to referees is that he feels that when he goes into a guy, even if the guy's the aggressor in it, Gibson's a bigger guy, and he tends to get the call because the other guy's getting knocked down, and that's a perfect situation right there.
Looking at the replay, I think, to be fair to Rodriguez, that Gerger had already whiffed on the shot before there was any contact. But that's obviously not how the referee saw it. And again, the big play here for the ambush.
So they do have the Kansas City penalty box open. Rodriguez is heading that way, so they will have another power play. So far they're 0 for 1 on the night.
I presume it's not a penalty shot because the referee saw that Gibson had whiffed on the shot before the contact. So it wasn't the denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. But still, a big 2 minutes here for the ambush. They have to start making these moments count.
Everton and Almeida are next to the ball. 3-man wall set up in front of Petracek.
Reggett looks fit to burst here. He's ready to go. He's looking like he wants the ball.
They await the whistle. Now Foreman make the ball. It's Everton. Takes a shot blocked by that 4-man wall. Goes all the way back to Apollo.
Wall did its job. Stood tall.
Everton. The ambush makes some changes. Almeida sends it back and forth. Down low, Clayton. Crosses it to Almeida and back to Clayton. Taking the shot was Everton. And Everton again leaves it for Almeida.
Kansas City doing a good job of covering the extra guy. Pressing very well.
Almeida fakes the shot. Could have an opening as Everton takes the shot. Hits the glass right above the net.
Good work by Almeida there. He managed to draw in the guy. Once he'd committed to going down for the block, managed to scoop it to the side and pass it to Everton. Good work by Lucas.
Kansas City's box has just stood so strong. That's the first gap the ambush have been able to find with this. Clayton inside, tried to get it to Adamson. That's spinning around, taking a shot is McGee, but that just goes over the net, and KC will get a restart.
Good work by Corey Adamson there as well. Just like what I was saying at the end of the first quarter, the ambush need to find a way to get behind the defense, and he managed to do that, and the ambush looked dangerous there.
So it goes back for Paulo. Now with about a minute left, it's going to be Lucas Almeida. for Clayton. Now Almeida, wide open, fakes the shot. Now under some pressure. Able to get it over to Everton. Now Clayton in front, Adamson wide open, and he just lifts that over the net, as that was the best chance for the ambush so far this afternoon.
He will want that back. I don't think he knew how open he was. I don't think he believed the ball had got to him. Maybe, 3 or 4 yards out, and he just scooped it over the bar. I don't think he realized how good of an opportunity it was.
Casey tries to push it forward. Good job by the ambush to keep it in, lift it high in the air. Trying to settle this, Clayton instead sends it all the way back to his fellow countryman, Paulo. Almeida able to find his seam, gets it to some open field, but Clayton can't get there in time. It's just going to be lifted out by Kansas City. That is going to be the end of the penalty. We are back at even strength.
Some good looks there for the ambush. And here's another one. And again, good opportunity. Stinson, high wide.
And that was just set up right from perfectly. A lot of open space. Got a running start to it. As you said, just barely lifted over the net as a header by Duarte is going to go into the stands. So Casey's going to get a restart in front of their own bench.
Again, the ambusher haven't looked. Too quick to pull the trigger and fanning on the shots. I mean, if Corey to put that one away and then Stinson there, it's a whole different ballgame.
Casey pressuring in their own end by Mario Marcos. Marcos all over Nacho. Nacho runs into the ref, and that's going to be a foul on Marcos. He just about got that ball away from him.
Marcos is one of the guys that's come into the team from the open tryout down in Brazil, and he's made an immediate impact with his team. He scored 3 goals. You can see why the Everton saw something in him to bring him up here to the US.
Petracek stepping forward. It's going to go right to Dos Santos. Now Reggett back for Dos Santos as the ambusher is going to get started. Perhaps make some changes. They will as Stinson switches for Manfoot. Dos Santos to an open Manfoot. Antonio Manfoot tried to cut towards the middle around Nacho, but it's knocked back. Ambush keep possession.
Really good tackle there by Flores.
It's going to go right back to McGee. Now Reggett leaving it for Dos Santos. Marcos fakes the shot, sends it right back to the defense. Marcos again at the yellow line. Walks with it, then cuts to the inside. Nice move. Now tries to knock off the boards. Reggett, now Manfoot out of nowhere. Almost was able to get a shot off, and he wanted a foul there. Now Casey's going to get the restart.
Good couple of minutes here, though, for the ambush. You know, coming out of that penalty, they had a couple of looks on the penalty, and here comes Manfoot.
Manfoot using his speed in the corner, looking towards the middle as he had Marcos. He gets pushed out by KC. Everton able to settle that. He's knocked down, and that's going to be a call on the Comets. As Manfoot off the boards in front for Everton. As he plowed over Nacho.
I don't think Everton can have too many complaints about that one. But Everton's got to show his teammates and his players that he still cares. And I think that was one of those fouls to show his players that, hey, we're still fighting. I'm still willing to plow people over.
Now Manfoot drawing the foul for the ambush. And a big restart as it's Everton back there along with McGee. And Mario Marcos rather, Manfoot on the near side.
Louder!
McGee goes down into the corner, and in front of the net is Pepe. Everton looks over to Manfoot. Manfoot, one-time shot, bouncing around, and Pepe rather had a chance. Couldn't get a foot on it, then Manfoot trying to sell the foul, gets knocked down. Now Everton gets pushed over by Grant. And Grant pushing forward is Williams. Williams looking for his hat trick and then gets knocked up against the boards. That's going to be a foul on the ambush.
Again, good couple of minutes there for the ambush. Sustained pressure, a couple of shots. They seem to have settled down in the game. KC haven't really done much in this second quarter. Knock on wood.
Is this wood? I don't know. No, not magic. Good, close enough. It's Tagba at midfield. Now Grant. A lot of pressure being put forward by Everton and by McGee. This is lifted all the way down there by Petracek. And then trying to move it over in front was Leo Gibson, but it's going to go high in the air.
All the businesses.
Good awareness by Petracek there to realize he was over the line, otherwise that would have been a three-line pass.
Partnerships for the season are still available. Stop by the sales table near section 121 for more information.
Almeida tried to give it for Duarte, and he just chipped that just barely over the boards. There's no glass here at the Family Arena or in most indoor soccer leagues towards the middle, just in the corners. Last night here at the Family Arena was the Lindenwood graduation, and then immediately afterwards they had to start putting together the field, and they were here till about 3 a.m. putting this all together.
Well, as the father of newborn twins, I know what it's like to wait till 3 a.m.
But you're finally getting sleep as Casey, a great chance by Gibson, a pass by Gibson rather, gives it over.
And talking about sleeping, the ambush defense were just sleeping on the job there. You know, the first real dangerous restart that KC have had, and they found the back of the net. And for all the sustained pressure that the ambush have put on KC through the second quarter, they've got nothing to show for it other than an enlarged deficit.
So it's going to be Lucas Rodriguez with the goal, making it 4-0 for KC. Gibson with the first. Williams has 2, and now Rodriguez puts KC up big. Just about halfway through the second quarter as Almeida trying to work around 2 KC players, unable to do so. Now Almeida again.
Sloppy goal all the way around. I mean, it was a bad first touch by Axel Duarte to put the ball out to begin with, and that led to the restart. And we basically gave that chance to KC, and they buried it.
Chasing after it is McGee. McGee on the far side against Tagba. No call as the ambush are going to come away with it. They're even 3-3 numbers the other way. Clayton to a wide open Almeida. Almeida trying to get around Stokic, unable to do so. Now Felipe are off the boards. Reggett right back over and then down for Reggett again, but it's going to stay across the boards. And Petracek throws it up to Gibson. Casey looking maybe to just hold on to his ball, kill as much time as possible to head into the half. Knocking off the boards is Grant, sends it down low for Gibson. Instead pushing it all the way back.
The ambush have to do a better job of pressing. They have to do a better job of putting pressure on the KC team when they've got possession. They have to start trying to initiate some errors now.
Gibson under some pressure, able to move it over to Palmer and then all the way back to Petracek. They're just going to keep this going, circling it around. Gibson again, hard off the glass. He's going to go to Williams. Williams tried a centering pass, and Reggett will get there. And not able to keep solid possession. Now a 2-on-1 with McGee and Reggett. Reggett moving in the shot, and no rebound as Petracek a juicy one right out in front. Almost looked like a handball by the ambush. Refs didn't see it though, as McGee again drops it for Reggett. Reggett off the boards as Adamson was in front. Now a great chance again by McGee. That's turned aside once again by Petracek. Both going into each other.
Ambush foul number 15, Dos Santos, his first of the half.
Good couple of saves there by Brett Petracek, and but also good work by Zach Reggett. You know, he had plenty of time to take the shot. He kept it on frame. He made Petracek have to make a save rather than the ball going high and wide. I think there was better options on the table though. He could pass it to McGee, who had a better opportunity, a better look at goal. But at this point, the ambush needs to start making some shots on target, and you can't really fault Reggett for taking the opportunity that was there for him.
As Clayton will start it for the ambush after a handball by the Comets. Paulo sets up his team, calls back a couple guys, and the give and go right back to Paulo. He just barely stays in play, but Casey able to get it back. Everton pressuring their defense. 3 men forward for the ambush. Now Duarte may have gotten tripped. He's down on the field, and that's going to be another foul on the Comets. Togba's third of the half, one more.
I think Duarte just rolled his ankle there as he went over.
Now Everton. Duarte will stay on the field. Gets it for Stinson. Dos Santos. Give and go between him and Corey Adamson as Everton down low in the middle of the net. Now move to the far side corner. Sending it down for Everton. Under a lot of pressure, waiting for somebody. Able to move up to the yellow line.
Everybody clap your hands.
Yeah, but a bit of miscommunication. Then Stinson pushed up against. That's going to be Rodriguez.
His second.
That's his second as Everton gets the restart. They're going to keep the current guys out there for the ambush.
I think Stinson did a good job of selling that, to be honest. He kind of run into Rodriguez. Rodriguez couldn't get out of the way quick enough.
Everton hard off the boards in front. A great chance for Stinson, but looked like it hit his shin as that goes way over the net.
Seems to be the story of the half.
Both teams make wholesale changes as Manfoot and Gibson are now the forwards for the ambush. Shot up by Adam James, and he'll lose it. Manfoot grabs the loose ball, charges forward, and he gets taken down. No call, though, as now Casey the other way, 3-on-2. And James tried to go to the outside. Great play by the ambush. That was Marcos breaking it up. Gibson pushes forward, takes a shot, just missing the net on the far side. Now Manfoot with it, another shot towards the middle, and that's kicked away by the Comets.
Good shot there by Gibson. Placed it well. It was going straight in the corner. Petracek had to be good, which he has been all half, to be fair to him.
Mario Marcos with it. Pepe out there along with Manfoot. Manfoot, a nice move, gets it over. Pepe hard off the boards. Casey's going to grab that rebound. Pushing it forward is Brian Perez, and Adam James will slow it down for Grant. Down low, Stokic. Try to center it, intercepted by Pepe, and deflected by Nacho before it's picked up by Antonio Manfoot. KC still keeping it in their offensive end. Lots of pressure being put on by the Comets, and Pepe gets knocked down by Keel Williams. And a little push by Pepe. He's not happy at all. He's going to have to watch it. The last thing the ambush are going to need is a penalty kill, as Kansas City is 4 for 4 so far this year on the power play. It's back for Paulo. Long boot forward, finds Everton off the corner. He has Clayton in front, and Dos Santos was looking for Duarte. Getting a piece of it was Petracek, and going forward is Williams. Already has 2 tonight. Williams cuts in front, takes a shot, and just knocked aside by Pepe. What a heads-up play to knock that ball away.
Excellent piece of indoor soccer right there. KC with a really good counter-attack, and then Pepe with the defensive play of the half for me so far. Had to stand strong, he had one chance to get rid of that ball, and he made sure he got on the end of it.
Petracek keeps on the ground. Long boot forward though for Gibson as he tried to drop it back. Now it's going to be a race for it in open field, and Pepe's going to get knocked down. Got a hand to the face, and Togba is going to go head to the box.
Hands to the face?
That's just an unnecessary penalty right there.
I don't think he meant to do it. I think he had his arm around him as he was trying to turn, and he was using his arm to swivel, but you're still in control of your own body, and his arm went up there around the face of the ambush player and knocked him down, and you know that's an automatic blue card.
So the Ambush, their third power play chance tonight as they still trail 4-0. Almost the entire rest of this half will be spent on this penalty kill. Contact above the shoulder. Another thing referees wanted to push forward this year is they are tightening up on contact at head, along with a lot of other leagues, obviously, around the world.
Everyone could have a certain amount of uniformity. Tackles. But I think because the indoor game is a lot quicker, there's a lot more chances for accidental contact, like we just saw there. I don't think he meant to have his arms to his face. It was, but you know, it happened, and it's a blue card. You know, Clayton was at the receiving end, and when this crowd gets loud, they get loud. It's the biggest crowd I've seen here at the Family Arena.
You gotta get this crowd back into this. What do the Ambush need to do on this power play that they have not been doing the past couple? Obviously, get past the defense of KC. They have a very tight 4-man box. Besides that, is there any other way they can go about getting around this squad besides what they've already been doing?
I think the last power play was very good. I think we had a lot of good looks. I mean, you go back to that Corey Adamson chance where he whiffed from 4 yards out. Corey had another good chance where he got behind the back of the defense. I think I don't want to say do what you've been doing because they're 4-0 down. They do have to find a key to unlock the defense. But the last power play gave me seeds of hope that they can get there. They made a lot of good chances in the last power play. KC were very good at pressing the open man, and the Ambush have to do a better way of getting more space to the extra guy, because the press that the KC have done has been excellent so far.
And one change on this power play from past power plays is Manfoot's going to start out there. The beginning of the power plays, it goes back to McGee. Lucas Almeida quickly pressured by Rodriguez. Fast ball movement by the Ambush. To Almeida. Now Everton. Right back, wide open at the back is the Ambush. Now McGee again down low. Manfoot takes a shot. And a good save by Petrovic as it's loose in the box. Getting knocked down was Dos Santos, and Antonio Manfoot goes down grabbing his nose.
Danger here.
KC pushes forward, short-handed, down low, a great chance. And Paulo comes up big as the Ambush have to move forward quickly. 90 seconds left in the period. Dropping it for Almeida. Wide open. And that was Manfoot with a one-time shot. Didn't get all of that, though. So it just rolls into Petracek. Not far enough for his man. Almeida with a lot of space to work. Takes a shot and getting a glove on it was Petracek. Manfoot trying to move it back, but Gibson's going to clear it all the way down. The field is just 30 seconds left on Togba's penalty.
I said it before the game that I think Petrocek makes KC a better team, but my goodness, I didn't realize how good he was. I mean, we saw him last year with Cedar Rapids, but this KC team has really improved with the addition of Brett Petrocek.
Trying the one-timer in front as it bangs off the ref. Now Everton, a bouncing shot, and Petrocek has to dive forward. Able to bounce on that, though, and he's going to call a timeout with just 26 seconds left in the first half, 10 seconds remaining on James Togba's minor.
Well, Petrocek there probably had to make 2 or 3 saves in quick succession. He called the timeout. I think it was because he just needed a moment to catch his breath.
You can just kind of see how he's walking too. He looks a little gassed. The ambush on this power play, constant pressure, not letting them have any relaxation at all.
What worries me now with the ambush is the fact that now they have to go for it. They have to make something happen. They have to create something. They're going to leave themselves open at the back. And to be honest, the nearest team to score during this power play was KC. They've counter-attacked really well this half. And that's what worries me going forward into the second half, that as the ambush pile on the pressure, and the ambush go for broke, they're going to leave the back door open themselves, and the Comets are just going to soak up the pressure, and then hit them on the break. And this game really could start to get away from the ambush.
The ambush already breaking the huddle. As Manfoot's going to head out for now, it looks like.
I would like to welcome Responder Rescue, who are joining us today in the Jamie Swanner keeper corner in section 102.
Big save, a timely moment there by Paolo, too.
Assistance to first responders and families who have been injured, ill, or suffered trauma.
Now KC breaks away as Manfoot and Gibson on the bench. It's going to be Dos Santos, Pepe, Clayton, Duarte, and finally Stinson, or Felipe rather. Petrocek heaves it forward. A good header by Pepe towards open field. Clayton on it. Knocks it over. Some free space for himself. Now Pepe, as Togba's out of the box with a lot of speed. Duarte's got to watch out. Gets it back to Paula just in the nick of time. The ambush slowing things down, just 4 seconds left. He might just hold on to those balls. Pepe over to Paulo, and that will end the first half as KC jumps out to an early lead, and they lead 4-0 over the St. Louis ambush.
Well, they sucked the life out of this crowd pretty early with that phenomenal goal by Leo Gibson. And I think it took the ambush a long time to get into this game. I think Everton will be disappointed as how anxious his players looked out there. Maybe they just weren't ready for the occasion, so to speak, but KC certainly were, and they've made the ambush pay. The ambush, though, in that second quarter, looked a better team. They had more of the ball, they had more of the possession, they had more of the shots, but being 3-0 down, the Comets could allow them to dictate play. And the Comets just soaked up the pressure and then just hit them on the break. And I can't see any other way that this game's going to go in the second half. The ambush are just going to, they're going to have the majority of the ball, they're going to have the majority of the opportunities, but with Petrocek stepping on his head like he's doing, keeping everything out, I mean, the man's a human yellow wall right there. That KC can bide their time and just hit the ambush on the break when they get, 1 and 2 on ones and things like that. And the ambush are up against it here. They just need a goal. Get this crowd back into it, give the crowd something to cheer for, and then let's go from there. What they can't do is let KC come out and score the next goal, and it's 5 and then maybe 6. They have to get the crowd back into this game. They have to get a goal, and then it's a whole new ball game.
ready for anything. At Mercy, your life is our life's work.
Driving on them like this.
My name is Tom White, St. Charles County Youth Soccer Association. I guess my passion is families teaching families about soccer. SCISA is the largest recreational organization in the state. We take the opportunity to build the community within the community and let it be about the soccer and the kids, not about anything else. A positive environment for everybody. If you just want to pass along a soccer passion that you had as a kid, this is the place to be. Yeah, this is the place to be.
And welcome back in, soccer fans, as we're getting set for the second half of play. As the KC Comets lead the St. Louis Ambush 4-0 after the first half of the Ambush. Although they don't have a goal, have a lot of pressure, especially in that second quarter. They were really putting some pressure on Petrocek, tested them a lot.
The first Leo Gibson goal was phenomenal, but for me, Petrocek was the player of the first half. He was a yellow brick wall back there. And if it wasn't for him, it could be 4-2, maybe 4-3. But the Ambush have to do a better job of making the opportunities count. They need a goal. They need to get this crowd back into it.
And there's a chance, and it hits the side of the net. Now Stinson spinning around. Back for Reggett. They come out spinning.
And that could have been it.
Lifted high back to Duarte. That's exactly what the Ambush needed right out at the start of this half. It's come out there with a lot of pressure. It's now Pepe.
And it's easy for me to sit here up here in the box and say they need to do a better job of getting the shots on target. It's easier said than done. But again, they need to get this crowd back into this game.
McGee tried to send one off the boards. That's going to be knocked off of a KC player. It's going to be Ambush ball. So on the offensive end, Everton holds on to it. Pepe taking over. In the corner, Pepe tried to center in front to Almeida. That misses everything. Ambush able to grab that loose ball, though, in front of the penalty box. McGee and Stinson.
The Ambush have come out, all pistons are firing right now. I think Everton had some choice words for them in the locker room.
Everton's been out there so far in this entire half. As Clayton, fresh off the bench, he scores! Clayton picked a corner and found it. It's a 4-1 game.
Great shot by Clayton. Picks his spot. Petrocek almost got to it. But that is just what the Ambush and this crowd needed.
And Clayton, one of the star players for the Ambush last year before his injury, just takes that ball, beautiful fake, and just no chance for Petrocek. The Ambush finally find a way to beat him.
Clayton did well there. He used the KC defender just to screen the shot, and Brett, I think, saw it late and just couldn't get into that corner in time. But that twice before that, the Ambush had got round the back.
His first of the season, scored by number 12, Clayton.
The Ambush fighting to get it back, they will.
Clayton from Everton.
And Clayton with it again for Dos Santos.
Keep this pressure on.
Corey Adamson out there now. Adamson gets it back for Duarte. And Clayton cuts towards the middle. A little floater is going to easily be stopped this time by Brett Petrocek. Goes up to Leo Gibson. Gibson knocked down by Clayton, and there might be a foul, and there will be. Gibson went hard into the boards. Clayton offered to help him up.
Gibson's having none of it.
All right, Clayton says. It's going to send all the way down for Adam James. He tried to center it. No one was home, though, for KC. It was all Ambush. Trying to push it forward. And a steal for KC. Gibson paves it over and a shot taken, but it's lifted high over the net by Lucas Rodriguez.
Now you have to think, with this being, again, the third game in 4 days for Kansas City, they're going to start to tire.
After the third quarter, the winner will receive
and the Ambush have to take advantage of that.
Now McGee sends it into open field in the corner. Pepe tried to spin around and pass it in front to Manfoot. And it's going to be kept in the zone by Felipe momentarily and lifted high in the air, but Ambush are still going to stay on it. Manfoot stepping forward, able to grab solid possession, then couldn't settle that ball properly, so it's going to be KC back with that at midfield.
Manfoot reminds me of Gibson last year. He's come to a new team and he's still just not quite in sync with his teammates yet.
Giving back for Paulo. They will leave it for Mario Marcos. Moving forward with it is Felipe. Felipe down the boards for Everton. Everton now under double pressure, looks in front of the post. Now Everton another chance. It's lifted high up in the air by KC. One bounce and a lucky bounce for KC. That's going to bounce off the boards and stay in the field of plays. It's given forward for Anthony Grant, who takes a shot hard off the glass. Now it's passed in front. Grant again. That just barely misses high over the net.
Could be quite easily be 5-1 there. That was a good opportunity there.
Now giveaway by the ambush as it goes in front, and a great save by Paulo as he appears he got his chest on that one.
Stood tall there, Paulo. They needed that save from him, something huge.
That's the Paulo this St. Louis ambush team has been expecting to have, as Manfoot hard on Grant. Grant pushes off from him. No call though, as the shot was deflected and grabbed by Paulo.
Good block by Duarte.
And a great pass by Duarte to a wide open Almeida. Gets it to Gibson, settling it with his chest, but bounced too far, and Petricek's able to grab that.
Needed a softer chest there from Gibson. He's too solid. Gibson's too solid there.
Now Almeida taking it right back. He's knocked down. That's going to be a foul on Rodriguez.
Rodriguez, his first of the half, third of the game.
So Ambush are going to get a restart on their own bench. Reminder, you're watching the Ambush on MASL TV. Catch every game each week on the league's official streaming home, MASL.tv. As it's Stinson cut into the outside, able to fight off one man, gives it in front. Almeida tried to redirect it, now over to Gibson, but the pass was just a bit behind him. It's going to go back for McGee. Stinson again for Almeida. Drop back, Pepe takes a hard shot that goes right off of James and wide, but Pepe gets the rebound and off the boards in front. Almeida's not able to grab that. Gets the rebound though off the boards, and Gibson, Leo Gibson's going to steal it right from Lucas Almeida. Loses the ball and it goes back to Paulo.
The first 6 minutes of the second half here, the Ambush have got around the back of the KC defense more times than they did in the entire first half.
Now Stinson gets around one man. He's going to look in front off the boards. And it goes to Reggett. Takes a shot and it hits, I believe, McGee in the stomach as he was looking to redirect that, but just as the Ambush almost got turnover, that's going to be a foul on Stinson against Gibson.
Yeah, McGee just tried to give it a little deflection there in front of the net, and he just gave it too much of a touch and was able to deflect it right back into Petricek's hands.
Grant in a foot race for Stinson, took a shot that goes off the boards, cleared away by the Ambush, but KC keeps it in the zone. Reggett now up the boards, nice give and go, trying to find Almeida, just a bit too far for him. Now Robert Palmer keeps the pass on the ground, goes through a KC player's leg, so it goes right to Pepe, or Clayton rather. Clayton back for Axel Duarte, and then Dos Santos fresh off the bench. And the pass to Everton. Everton gets it to Duarte, and he's tripped in the box. And I do not know how there's not a call there. There's Petricek able to move it forward.
That could have gone either way, that call.
Might have been they got too much of the ball for it, Back for Rodriguez. Now Ramon Palmer.
Both teams have come out to play since halftime, eh?
Great back and forth action. Very even quarter so far. About halfway through we are. Paulo's going to leave it for Clayton. Clayton way back in his own end under a lot of pressure. The Ambush got watch out. Could have been too many men there, but they're able to get it back to Paulo. Over to McGee. Now Clayton can push forward with it. Right down the middle. Hits the inside. Mario Marcos already has 3 goals on the year, and then a shot taken by Felipe. Gets blocked in front. It's going to go back for Clayton. Clayton waits for it as the ambush shift around. Little head fake. Gets it for Felipe. And outside, Marcos. Marcos slowing it down. Almost loses the ball, so he has to give it back to Felipe and over to Felipe. Now Gibson for Felipe takes a shot blocked by a foot.
Starting to hear the crowd get back into it now. They know that this pressure needs to tell.
Restart for the ambush.
Just as Felipe was coming to the middle, he's knocked down. Big restart here.
The shots are starting to get a little bit more on target. Petricic's having to be a bit more wary. The KC defenders having to make a few more blocks.
Let me hear ya!
So restart with Clayton. Communicating a little bit. They're going to call a timeout.
And again, Patrick, just like against the Florida Tropics, just like against Harrisburg Heat, it takes the ambush to get 2-3 goals down, and then they really start to scrap. I think we're a scrappy team anyway, and I think it plays into our nature. But I'd like to see us come out scrapping while the scores are level. This has been the best 9 minutes of the game for the ambush. What they can't do again, though, is push forward and allow the Comets to come back and score. That obviously goes without saying. But very encouraging 9 minutes here from the ambush.
We would like to remind everybody that outside of being on the team, the best way to know what's happening in the MASL is to tune in to Kick This. Every weekend, Soccer Stadium discusses the ins and outs of all the MASL action. Find Kick This every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern on iHeartRadio. Ambush mixing up the lines a bit too. Maybe one of the reasons they wanted a timeout is Everton's going to go out there with Almeida, Adamson, Reggett, and Dos Santos.
We mentioned at halftime to each other that we expected a little bit more from Manford. He kind of reminds me, as I say, from Jojo Gibson last year. Coming into a new team, he's just not quite in sync with his teammates yet. I mean, it's easy. I know Reggett's coming into a new team, but he's been practicing with his team now for a year, you know, in the academy. So he's trained with these guys day in, day out. So it's a lot easier for him to come in than it is a guy coming in from Syracuse. But I also think once Manford starts rolling, he will be a big producer for this team.
Almeida starts the restart. One-time shot by Reggett. Just goes wide, and it's going to be a foot race for it as Palmer was going to get there, but he bounced up and hit his elbow, so that's going to be a handball.
That's a bounce that went the ambush way.
As the ambush makes some changes.
Palmer's still complaining about the handball call.
Pushing forward is Felipe. Felipe for Stinson. Stinson able to get around. Togba takes a hard shot towards the inside, just barely missed his mark. Send it back up is Lucas Almeida. And knocked down was Stinson. No calls. It goes over to the near side for Felipe. Down for Everton. Looking for the give and go. Goes off the boards. Petricek gets a piece of it. It goes out free, and then Togba's taken down hard by Duarte, and that's going to be a foul on St. Louis.
Professional foul that by Duarte. He knew that if he'd have let Togba get past him, that KC were off to the races. Duarte knew what he was doing, and he took one for the team there.
Bounce off the boards for Brian Perez. Perez for Leo Gibson. Near side, Sandivari. And all the way back for Robert Palmer. Casey just slowing stuff down now in the second half of the third quarter. Petricek stepping forward, try to pass, intercepted by Almeida. Tries to go for the open net, that's gonna go wide, but Stinson winds up, takes a bouncing shot He's going to go high over the net.
Yeah, he just couldn't get his foot underneath it. The ball was rising on Stinson there.
Timeout on the field.
We would like to remind everybody that the Ambush would like to thank Miter USA for providing today's match balls. Miter, founded in Huddersfield, England, is among the world's oldest sporting goods brands, starting production in 1817. Miter is a proud partner of Major Arena Soccer League, providing arena-specific match balls to both the MASL and MASL2. MASL and Miter share a long-term vision to see arena soccer grow in North America. Miter's Astro Division ball is the official game ball for MASL League play. Miter's Astro Division is designed specifically for play on artificial surfaces. It features a more accurate flight than the average ball and has a 30% reduced bounce to make play more effective in arena soccer. The Ambush called it, or official timeout rather, with just 4:41 left. And the Ambush just keep pushing. Unfortunately, just one goal to show for it so far this quarter.
They've got no choice really at this point. They've got to make something happen, and they have been making things happen. That's the good news for the Ambush. And I tell you what, after last season, how many times last season did we sit here and say that this has been a bad third quarter? You know, third quarter was always the Achilles heel, it seemed. And you know, so far so good in this third quarter. They've taken the initiative. They've got the goal. Another one would be nice. But at least they've got this one, and the crowd are getting back into it, Patrick. You know, there's something to cheer for, and I think they see that the impetus is with the Ambush right now. Kansas City, though, it was in their interest to slow the game down, and as soon as they got the ball, they put their foot on it, and they tried to take some of the pace out of the game. You know, time is on their side. There's only 19 minutes of this game to go. And the time is on the Comets side right now, and they've got the advantage, and they want to slow the game down and take every second off this clock that they can.
The Ambush have been strong in the fourth quarter so far this year. So far, it's the quarter they do best in, with 7 combined goals in their 3 games.
Against good teams too, and we know that the Milwaukee Wave are not to be sniffed at. And the Milwaukee Wave have been made to work for their 2 wins against the Comets this season. What a tackle that was by Pepe.
Pepe stepping forward, trying to get around a diving Palmer, but it's going to go right back for the Ambush as Adamson was able to steal that.
3 really good tackles in a row there.
Clayton long cross field for Pepe. Corey Adamson has a chance to shoot, instead getting it down for Clayton. Clayton cuts the middle, fakes the shot. Now he'll take it, and that's blocked in front. Good play by Leo Gibson. It's sent over to this near side. McGee able to get to Adamson. Adamson cutting around, in a good play to break that up by Nacho Flores.
Good work there by Adamson. He first touch lost the ball, but he managed to Adamson, sorry, I was obviously distracted there.
The Ambush knock it off the boards. Reggett had a 2-on-1. I don't think he realized they had Marcos wide open on the near side. So the ball's just going to go to Petracek. Pushing forward is Tagba, knocking over Reggett, and that's going to be a foul on the Comets.
The foul is on number 3, James Tapa, his first of the
Reggett there. Now I've seen him in the flesh. He's a big boy, you know. He's built. Big old cheese-fed Wisconsin. I imagine when he hits you, you know you've been hit.
Him and Gibson both.
Yeah. We obviously
Gibson's just a whole nother,
Yeah, he's a big unit, is Jerja.
There's Marcos with a good chance, trying to knock out the boards. It's still loose. Ambush knocks it behind. Reggett all the way back, as they're going to slow it down for Duarte. Clayton trying to get to Reggett. Reggett gets knocked off the ball, and KC pushing forward. They have a 3-on-1 as they charge forward with speed. Tagba, the outside. Stokic trying to chance that was broken up.
Stokic there just ran out of gas.
Number 23, Nacho.
Nacho gets fouled, knocking over Marcos. Marcos might have sold that just a bit. The ambush making changes. They restart with it. Clayton with Everton. Comes down and gets pushed by Gibson.
14, Leo Gibson.
Gibson's not happy about that at all.
His first.
That's just going to be his first of the half.
And a yellow card has been issued to the Comets.
I think Gibson must have said something there after the foul.
It was also from behind as well.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't. But yeah, you're right. It was not issued until afterwards.
Yeah, it was just a push. I mean, it wasn't like a two-footed from behind tackle.
Yellow card has been issued to the Comets, number 14, Leo Gibson. 5 minutes for dissent. The Comets will not play shorthanded.
So apparently he did say something that the ref took exception to, and he's going to be off the field for the rest of the third quarter in about 3 minutes of the last quarter. So that's a big loss for KC as Everton tries to send that towards the middle. Now again, Everton with a shot gets blocked in front, but still under pressure as KC is a side shot. Petrovic standing on his head. Somehow that does not go in. As Clayton gets knocked hard against the boards. Both players got hurt in that exchange, and I think they both went into the boards in some way.
Oh, what a last 30 seconds that was. How the ambush didn't score, I'll not know. Brett Petrovic in goal was amazing.
Diving back and forth, Everton are trying to slide shot. It goes right into the stomach of Petrovic. Selling it is KC in front of the penalty box. Petrovic up for Togba. To the outside, Palmer sends it all the way down, and trying to redirect it was Stokic.
Foul against Kansas City, number 20, Stefan Stokic.
And Stokic isn't happy about that foul.
And he needs to watch his mouth too, but the ambush left him all alone up there. That could have been a whole different proposition if he'd got more of his head onto that ball.
Goes in for Gibson. Leaves it for Marcos and Felipe trying to get on it, but Stokic knocks off the board. Stinson able to keep it in though, 1 minute left. Almeida. Lucas Almeida looking for an open man. Goes over to the far side, able to find Felipe. Back to Lucas Almeida. Cuts, takes a shot right on, goes through the 5-hole of Petrovic. But the ambush can't get that open shot as they send it off the boards, but KC is going to clear that all the way down.
When it's your day, it's your day.
Lucas Almeida.
I mean, as you said, it went right through his legs.
He got his hands on that one, a high shot by Almeida, but Gibson muscles away and able to get the ball off the boards, but cleared away by the Comets.
And it's not just Petrovic, right? It's the entire defense. They get on the end of all the rebounds.
Almeida with the steal, takes a shot and that floats wide. Still loose, so Stinson grabs the loose ball. He's knocked off the ball, and that will end the third quarter as the ambush just buzzing around that KC net. But Petrovic stands tall.
A lot better from the ambush. That was a lot better 15 minutes from the ambush. Better opportunities. They obviously scored the goal, but even the ones they missed, they were on frame. Petrovic stood on his head. Some phenomenal saves. Fair play to him. I mean, you make your own look. He's been absolutely phenomenal. I got some
Awesome. How do we do that?
During this break, we'd like to remind everybody that you can get the latest news on the MASL and your favorite teams. Make sure you are following MASL Soccer on Facebook and Instagram, and MASL Arena on Twitter.
All right, it's time for the
As now,
apple toss. You guys have your
Matt,
apples ready?
the ambush in that first quarter just slowly were able to find their feet, able to get a couple good chances. In that third quarter, just non-stop action, constantly pressuring. Petrovic staying on his head. It's going to take a lot to get by him. I think the best option they have is probably to get through that defense first, that's just able to collapse so well and create a box that's impossible to break.
The first 3 minutes of the third quarter, the ambush had more opportunities than they did through the entire first half. Good opportunities, getting around the back of the defense, getting behind the last man. It's bizarre. It's been a bizarre game. The ambush are 4-1 down. but they've had twice as many shots. They're 18 to 8 in the shot advantage. A lot of those shots, though, in the first half weren't nothing to write home about. They were high, wide, and handsome. But in the third quarter, Bet Petrocek has been absolutely phenomenal. He's been my player of the game so far. And it's testament to him that he's been player of the game because Leo Gibson scored an absolute worldie in the first period.
2-8-6.
But the ambush and Everton have to be happy at the way they've come out in the third quarter. They really have taken the game, and they had no other option. 4-0 down, they had no other option. They really had to take the game to KC. And as KC have tired, you saw it there. Skokic, they had the 3-on-1, and Skokic just ran out of steam. And that comes from playing a lot of soccer in the last 72 hours.
As a reminder that Leo Gibson got a 5-minute penalty, but they are not shorthanded. It's still 5-on-5, but they will be without Leo Gibson for about the first 3 minutes and 20 seconds of this fourth quarter. So another opportunity for the ambush to keep pushing forward and not really have as much of a threat on the offensive side of the ball from KC.
The good news for the ambush is that they don't have to face Leo Gibson for the next 3 minutes. The bad news is he's going to come out fired up, and he's had a rest. You know, so he's going to come out fired up, ready to go. He's going to be like a little coiled spring.
Stop by section 121 for more information.
But again, if the ambush can make something happen real early here in the fourth quarter, then we're in for a barnstorming last 15 minutes.
And Gold's Gym for helping keep our players healthy and fit.
Both teams are going to change sides. Ambush already out there ready. Gibson's going to start. And back there is Axel Duarte, Pepe, Stinson, and Corey Adamson on this near side. As KC breaks away from their huddle.
And it was a good quarter. I've got to say it's a good quarter two for Paolo. You know, I think he needed a good, solid 15 minutes where nothing got past him. He stood tall a couple of times. And I think he needed that just to, you know, give him some confidence going into the season.
So we start this fourth and final quarter. Ambush down 4-1. They've had a lot of pressure lately, though, as here come the Comets. Coming to the middle, and Sandoval, and it's going to be Paulo stepping forward. Great play by him to steal that ball away.
Good play by Duarte. He knew what he was doing. He was chesting it down, let Paolo get the ball.
Gerger leaving it for Pepe. Pepe's going to wait. He goes to Corey Adamson. Pepe down for Duarte. Duarte knocked off the ball. Stinson grabbed that though and then gets shot back towards Pepe. And Gibson off the boards. It's dropped back. Marcos pushed off the ball by Williams. And he's just going to send it all the way down as some of his teammates will go for a change.
A little bit of an experience there from Marcos. He had to take the shot there. He just tried to delay. He took the touch rather than just taking a snapshot.
Pepe knocked him off the ball and a shot and a goal for Mario Marcos, his fourth of the year, and the Ambush are back in it.
See, he has to just take the shot. He has to just take the shot, and he did the second time round. The deficit has been halved. It's now 4-2, and we're in for a last 13 minutes, 45 seconds. We've got a soccer game.
Casey just got a red card. Somebody said something. I don't know if it was Nacho or not, but that is the last thing you need to commit after just laying up a goal that shortens this lead.
Well, who knows what happened? I was watching the replay. I was watching the celebrations. I did not see what happened there with the referee.
Well, I saw the refs walking back, and out of the corner of my eye, I see one of them put up the red card. None of them were really in any ref's face. That's Brian Perez, who's heading to the bench.
Well, a red card, he's got to go to the locker room.
And the question is that red card on the team or on him himself?
Kansas City Comets, number 11, Kyle Williams. Williams has been ejected from the game.
Well, it was Kyle Williams.
So it was Perez arguing about it, but yes, Williams kicked out, and he's already got 2 goals tonight. Another big loss for KC, as Gibson's still going to remain in the box for about another minute or so. Once again, he has to wait for a whistle to come back into the field to play since it's 5-on-5.
It's going to be Brian Perez that serves for 2 minutes.
He does not look happy at all. The Ambush have a golden opportunity here to get this game tied up.
Serving the penalty.
If there was ever a time for the Ambush to score a power play goal, this is it.
Correction, the Comets are shorthanded.
I was going to say, Brian Roth said that, but there's 4 out there, and then 2-minute penalty. The Ambush a golden chance. Petricek's going to kill some time, send it all the way down. Intercepted by the Ambush, but that's going to be lifted high in the air and into the crowd. Restart for KC, that's Berto on the near side.
4th goal of the year, I believe, for Marcos.
That it is.
You know, you talk about needing to come in and make an impact. He's certainly lived up to his side of the bargain.
One thing Everton said when I asked him, what were you looking for going down to Brazil? He said, honestly, I was looking for a forward. I came back with a midfielder and defenseman, and they're contributing offensively. As here come the Ambush charging. Almeida. Now McGee. Almeida again. Petricek making himself look big for Clayton. Everton in the corner. Clayton again. Almeida drops it, shot by Felipe. It gets deflected. Everton scores! A power play goal, and it's 4-3. Player coach Everton with it.
All the momentum now is with the Ambush. They have to keep this rolling. It was a really cool finish by Everton. That was a tight angle. And he's getting the crowd into this.
You see that got deflected off of Palmer as Petricek could not play off that rebound just about right. But as you said, a very weird angle, and Everton just threads the needle there.
But the first time, it was McGee who took the initial shot, and for the first time, a rebound didn't drop to a KC defenseman, and Everton made him play.
Power play goal scored by number 79, Everton. Everton unassisted on the power play.
The Ambush get the ball right back right off the start, but the foul committed. And Nacho will start with it.
And the Ambush have to keep their discipline too. They can't let the fiery temperament of the KC Comets get to them. They can't let it affect them. They have to keep their discipline, keep their shape. They have to believe the Ambush that they're going to get 2, 3, 4 more good opportunities to level this game.
Lifted into the corner for KC, and a shot taken by Palmer goes way over the net.
Here are the Enduro and Sons Pizza winners here tonight. Ann Mitchell, Jill Benelavente, Rebecca Brader, Rick
We'll have to go back to Paulo. As you said, that third quarter, very solid quarter for him, but now is where the Ambush need him to step up and do what they know he can do.
The first half especially, the Ambush weren't playing bad. They had opportunities, they just couldn't finish. Now they've found some shooting boots. The makeup of the game has changed totally.
Well, you look at a couple of the KC goals, it's just a bad bounce. You could say that about Everton's goal right there for KC. Goes off their defenseman. It's a game of inches, but obviously, as you said, Ambush dominating shots 21-8. They've just been able to find their feet.
The KC Comets are going to do everything they can now to slow this
Ambush
game
fouls on
down.
number 21, Justin Stinson, his second foul.
They're going to run every second off this clock that they can.
We have a bench warning to the Kansas City Comets.
You hear Brian say a bench warning for the Comets.
Maybe something said, but Gibson now out of the box. He's going to head right over to the bench. The ambush on the far side. Stinson pushing forward, not able to get that. Now going forward is Palmer. Palmer centers it in front, but a great slide by Reggett. And then Paulo knocked down. He was knocked out of the box. No call, though, as James was the one that knocked him down.
Goal saving block there from Reggett. And he's up forward now, and he's got some space.
Reggett tried to get it to Pepe, and that ball's still loose as Casey works up the boards on the far side. They're going to find James wide open, cross field. James gives it in, and it hits the post. He had every chance. He had a wide open net, unable to do it. I believe it was Palmer. Now here comes the ambush the other way, Pepe.
Well, you make your own look, and the way this game's been going in the last 20 minutes, the look is with the ambush.
Casey trying to work up the boards. Good block by Marcos. Everton getting knocked down. Still hard on the ball. Knocked down by Palmer. Palmer being pressured by Marcos now. He falls and they're going to call foul, but Casey kept possession.
It's just what I was afraid of. As the ambush push forward, they're going to leave the back door very, very empty. And Casey are going to try and capitalize on that.
Petracek moves forward. Able to get it all the way down. Leo Gibson on the field for the first time since he was in the penalty box. As McGee pushes forward for Clayton. Clayton off the board. Gerger, Gibson. Gerger back for Clayton. And now Pepe. Near side. To Marcos. Marcos trying to fight off Palmer. Unable to do so. Gibson unable to grab that. Goes back to Petracek. And slowly forward to Grant. A 3-on-1 for KC. Grant gives it over. Gibson waits. Takes a shot. That goes wide. And then Paulo's going to step forward. Gives a little sign to the crowd. And they are in this one. As Pepe able to get around Gibson. A lot of free space. He checks. Makes sure Gibson's away. Gets it over Almeida, off a foot, and it goes in! It's a goal! And it's a tie game! Unbelievable!
I couldn't tell you who scored it. I couldn't tell you if it was an own goal. Honestly, I thought the ball went over the line, but I don't know who had the final touch.
I think that it kept going in, barely getting knocked out. It went in about 3 times. So looking at the replay, Almeida bangs it off the defense. I don't think Reggett got a piece of it, but it's in right there. I believe Almeida is going to be credited with that.
It certainly looks like he was the last guy to touch it with the initial shot. I feel bad for Petracek because he's been absolutely lights out. But he just couldn't stop them all.
Equalizing goal.
And again, when the ambush get down by multiple goals, something happens to this team.
Reggett unassisted.
And the goal's been credited to Zach Reggett, and good for him.
Casey moving in the offensive zone now. That's going to be Reggett's 3rd goal of the year, as he's made a big impact on this team so far.
This is very similar to last week's game as well. We were down by 4 goals to Harrisburg. We got it back level late, and then we let the game slip away. I hope that the ambush players have learned from that. Learned that they've got to keep going. They can't let KC take the initiative again. And this is a big restart here for the Kansas City Comets. Leo Gibson's over the ball.
And we set up a 3-man wall. Gibson leaves it, then passes it over in the corner. Shot taken, that goes wide. Paulo was ready for it though, as Almeida trying to get on it. Togba knocked down. That's going to be a foul and a 2-minute penalty on Stinson.
Keep your discipline.
KC player still down.
Looks like Palmer.
Believe so. He's slow to get up, able to get up though, as he's gonna perhaps head over to the bench. He will.
He's just buying his guys some time to get a rest and figure out how they're going to play this.
That was Togba knocked down. Kim gives orders from the bench. So it's going to be Rodriguez starting out on the far side. Fakes the shot, handed back for Nacho. Nacho Umberto. He goes for Gibson. Given back. Moved over. Umberto. Palmer shot. It's going to go all the way down. Nacho racing after it. Rodriguez sets up his team. Sending it down in the corner. One-time headshot. A great save by Paulo.
Great header. Great header by Gibson.
We'll go over to Nacho. Nacho for Rodriguez. Down low. And over again. A shot blocked in front. Great job by the ambush with just a minute left on the penalty kill. Nice redirection by Gibson and a shot taken across the way. And goes to Rodriguez on the near side. Nacho again for Gibson. Gibson had time to shoot, instead gives it over to Rodriguez. Back to Gibson, and it's blocked in front by Felipe. Saw a block by the ambush. 30 seconds left on the penalty kill as it gets caught in the feet of Pepe, or Felipe rather. It's going to be Gibson taking a shot, redirected to the side. Loose ball grabbed by Pepe, sent all the way down.
Felipe was open there if he could have found him. If he'd just taken a second to have a look, Felipe was wide open in the middle. A great save there by Paulo.
A rocket taken by Rodriguez. Booted over to Gibson, and it goes to the inside. Deflects off an ambush defender, and Paulo is able to grab it as the penalty expires. Tossed all the way up Gibson. Gibson fresh off the bench. Takes a shot, and that just barely misses the net as Stinson leaves the box.
What a couple of minutes this has been. Good work by the ambush there to play out with the man advantage for KC. He almost could have snuck one right there at the end as well, where Gibson got free. He just couldn't keep his shot down. And this game has come alive.
So we're in the huddle right now. What is Everton saying to this team currently?
Calm down. Calm down. You don't have to chase this game anymore. Play your game. You're going to have 2 or 3 opportunities to win this game. Keep it tight. You don't have to chase this game, Patrick. Kansas City are tired. Kansas City are holding on at this point, and who would have thought we'd be saying that Kansas City would be holding on at the end of the first half, but here we are. And it's almost like a mirror image of the game last season to a degree. What worries me is that the ambush, when they get level, when they get it back to level terms, they struggle to get over the final hurdle. They struggle to win the game. They've got to learn how to win the game against a really good team when it matters. And that's what the ambush have to do here. And Everton has to tell them that. He has to say, look, be smart. Don't be taking silly penalties like Stinson just did. Keep your calm, keep discipline, keep your shape, and opportunities will come.
I think a reminder would be as well, you're not the ones frustrated right now. They are. They gave up the lead. They've already taken 2 penalties of saying something to the ref, of all things, not something in play.
And I think Ken Rudford, their coach, he'll be furious with that. The lack of discipline from their end. This game was won. You know, this game was won. But Ken's a wily old soul. He'll know that the ambush were going to come back. He knows that his team were going to tire. And he'll also know that the Comets are going to have 2 or 3 good opportunities themselves. But Paulo's
come big when he's needed to. Paolo looks the better keeper right now. It's all to play for.
Casey kept possession for a little bit there, but the Ambush are going to push forward with it. McGee sends it all the way down. Everton blocking that with his back. What a play off the glass. It's sent immediately all the way for Gibson. He in the inside is Stinson. Stinson's going to take it away. He has Everton with him. Stinson try to get to Everton. A good block in front by the Ambush. Keep possession. Dos Santos. Everton knocked off the ball, pushing towards it. It's going to be a foul on Everton as he pushed down Mirko Sandivari.
They're calling for a card on Everton there. I think it's more wishful thinking. But it was a good ball by Stinson to try and find Everton. It was a last-ditch block. Otherwise, Everton would have had a free shot.
Petrick to move forward. But immediately taken by Stinson. He shoots towards the open net, and it barely misses by about 2 feet. The Ambush were that close to getting their first lead of the game.
And Brett Petricek's heart was in his mouth there for 2 seconds.
Pushing forward is Togba, able to get around Almeida. Togba center it to James. They tried to get down low for Gibson. That's knocked away by Dos Santos, and Paulo's going to grab that ball.
Good block by JJ Gibson. And then Paolo tried to find Gibson. He was going off to the bench, and it set KC free.
Gibson tried to pass, now heads it towards the middle. A shot taken, Ambush able to block it. They have numbers 3-on-2 the other way. Clayton, long pass up, trying to get to the open man. They will. Felipe, a shot and a great save by Petricek.
Phenomenal save. Game-winning save, might I add. Good work by Riget there to find Felipe.
Paul gave it away. They take a shot and into the top corner. KC gets the lead back again, 5-4, with 4:24 left.
I think that was Rodriguez, second of the game, and he absolutely nailed the top right-hand corner of that goal. There was no way Paolo was stopping that. He put it right on a postage stamp in the top right-hand corner. Paolo didn't get enough on the clearance, and Rodriguez made him pay.
Pizza location and receive a buy one get one free.
Just like that, the Ambush are going to have to claw their way back into this one, as Adamson will start for the Ambush.
Pizza location and receive a buy one get one free deal on 12-inch one-topping pizza.
The heads can't go down. You've still got 4.5 minutes. You're still going to get opportunities. Your heads can't drop. You came back before, you can come back again.
Casey grabs possession right back. Palmer. Back and forth they go. Palmer again sending it forward. Gibson able to settle it under some pressure from Pepe. Gets it to the outside. Shot taken. Good block by Paulo. They're going to send it all the way back to Rodriguez. Now they're going to have to kill a lot of time. Gibson try to pass it in. Stolen by Pepe. He's going to have to use some speed to get around Gibson. Able to do so. Now pulls on the brakes. Sends it back for Paulo. Duarte. Give and go between him and Paulo off the boards. Able to find Mario Marcos. Marcos for Everton. Everton spins around, trying to send it off the boards. Gets it to himself, and then Petricek able to push himself against the boards. Just barely grabs that ball as it enters the box. Throws it up for Palmer. Palmer sends it in front. Nacho and Gibson a good chance. But Paulo got over, made the save.
Good coverage there by Paulo to make that save.
That was deflected by the Ambush, so it's going to be a corner for KC. KC gives it to Nacho, shot taken. It's going to be blocked, and Pepe with a lot of speed. He could have a break, He had to pull on the brakes, and Togba was able to steal that from him. Still not out of the woods yet. As it's taken right back by the ambush. And it was Stinson trying to cut towards the middle. Got that ball stolen away from him. Now Grant. Anthony Grant tried to pass, blocked by Almeida. Still on him as Almeida, or Duarte.
Everton's put on the green jersey. He's getting ready to become the extra player.
It's sent forward by KC. Paulo out of his net. Kicks that forward. Duarte's going to have to race for it. Nice little touch up to Marcos. Bit of physical play as KC just wins that right back. Sandovari gets it forward. And then pulls it all the way back. Benningu. Long pass forward, goes off the boards. Gibson leaves it, takes a shot, and Paulo blocks it. Was charging forward, looking to throw up, but instead he's going to slow everything down and call a timeout. Just a minute 57 left, and you have to imagine that Everton will come on the field for Paulo after this timeout.
And coaches stand up. Make your dads and coaches
What an indoor game of soccer this has been. Absolutely phenomenal.
It's time for the awkward dad dance.
Slow down, take a breath ourselves, let alone the players with the time out.
Mowing the lawn.
The ambush has shown a lot of character, Patrick, and coming back the way they have. The KC Comets are an excellent team.
Great move, Dad. Keep it up.
Brett Petracek has been out of this world in this game. If it wasn't for him,
there we go.
You know, Felipe just had that shot about 20 seconds before Rodriguez put the KC Comets in the lead.
Great one right there.
You know, a couple of bounces here and there, and we could be looking at the ambush looking to close this game out. So here we are again, just like last week. Everton's going to come on as the extra player. And the ambush are very good when playing when the chips are down. So this game is not over yet.
What's a father-son awkward dance duo right there?
Two teams are going to break away from their huddles, and Paulo will head to the bench. Everton with the green extra jersey on. All the way back for him to start. He's going to have number 66.
All right, Pat, let me hear you.
He knows he's got to work quickly. Give and go quickly between him and Almeida. And he tried to give it up the glass, but it's going to hit Brian Roth actually in the scorers table. So KC's going to get it.
They're going to get a restart
the top of the circle.
from the top of the box.
With Everton in net.
And you've got to think that Ken Rodveld and the Kansas City Comets, if they can come away with a win tonight, 2 wins in 3 games in 4 days, they will be absolutely thrilled.
Good block, Reggett gets it on a break, gets it over to Clayton, he's knocked down. And a great chance there for the ambush as one of the KC players is still down. Almeida pushes forward, takes a shot towards the far side, that just misses. Now Pepe. Back for Everton as he has moved forward. Waits, gets it to Almeida. 90 seconds remain. Almeida and Everton exchange it. Goes over to McGee. Almeida tried to cut towards the inside, but 5-man box set up by KC. Down low is Reggett and Clayton as he tried to redirect that one towards the net, but it's stopped by Petracek. Heaved all the way forward. Not far enough as it's headed by the ambush. 52 seconds remain. Almeida goes forward with it. That's on the brakes. Over to Everton. Back to Almeida. Almeida waits into the inside and a great chance. Now Reggett, he scores! Reggett! His second of the game, and it's a tie game with 37.3 remaining.
Zach Reggett, have a day, son. Have a day. I don't know what it is with this team, but when the chips are down, they can play. They can play. But again, they have to finish it off now. They can't let KC take the lead again. Obviously, with 37 seconds, we can't. But they have to finish this off now.
They just need to stall, get it to overtime, and then you can draw something else up. So Reggett, his 4th of the season, 2nd of the night. Ties it at 5. Sends it down. Still in the box, and Paulo's able to jump on that. Thought about charging forward and try to send it to Stinson. That goes off of Sandivari, and that's going to go out of play. Ambush ball. 20 seconds left.
With de facto playing golden goal.
It goes off the boards. Reggett knocked down. No call, though, as that ball is still bouncing in the KCN. Grabbed by Grant. Now Stinson fighting for it. 5 seconds remain. And we're going to have a whistle. And it's going to be KC ball with not a lot of time to work with.
Calling a timeout. We're just going to go for it.
Blew the whistle. It looked like for a second they would.
That'd be an official timeout.
Kim's giving directions to Rodriguez. He's just confused, running in a circle. So Petricek's just gonna, now he's gonna go forward. You're trying to get a big boot from him.
Nothing to lose at this point.
Or as Rodriguez waits. And Everton screaming from the bench, referee coming over.
Mark Litton absolutely screaming.
Zip, they're making changes by chance. They felt it was too late. Now all three ambush coaches talking to the ref. Everton showing a lot of passion.
Everton is furious at something.
Might be the time. Corey Adamson just pointed to his wrist. I believe they want a little bit more time taken off this clock, and they're going to look it over real quick.
Well, your guess is as good as mine what's going on right now. But I think you're right. I think they're clarifying the time on the clock.
Everton still fuming.
Well, the referee told him some news he didn't want to hear. That is for sure.
KC will get one chance to maybe try this. And the ambush going to get a penalty here? It appears they will. Stinson heads to the box. Ambush only have 4 out there. A 2-minute penalty is going to be assessed. That will bleed into overtime.
Makes me wonder if that's a bench, a foul on the bench, you know, for something that was said by one of the coaches.
And the ref still talking over with the off-field officials. And they've taken Petricek out, and Leo Gibson is wearing the red extra jersey.
Never a dull moment.
Leo Gibson sent it all the way forward, and that's going to have time expire as Everton immediately charging out onto the field, getting in both referees' face.
Fourth foul of the half was on Justin Stinson.
So that was the penalty. Stinson got his 4th foul. They're going to send him to the box.
Mark Litton is trying to calm Everton down.
Well, I mean, 10 minutes.
He may say something that's
coming up.
not conducive to
if neither team scores,
more players staying on the field.
3 rounds of a shootout.
Everton still talking as he heads over to the circle. And he's got to calm down for the simple reason of he's got to draw something up. This is a big big opportunity for KC. As you said before, with a tie game, the ambush can't sit back, and KC could charge forward. You need to be smart in this situation.
I'm not sure what happened, but I'm sure it was preventable. And now, not only have KC got 1 minute and 57 seconds with an extra guy, but there's no coming back from it if they make the ambush pay for it. So not only has Everton got to draw something up to protect what he's got, they've got to get through 1 minute and 57 seconds. But again, it comes back to being able to close out games. And you know, the KC Comets, they're the ones that had the 4-0 lead. They're the ones that should be furious. They were the ones that were having discipline problems.
Following tonight's game, fans may enter
You know that Brazilian flair. That Brazilian flair may come back and bite us.
Approximately 5 to 10 minutes after the game tonight.
But you know what? On the flip side of the coin, that may G up his players. They may see his passion. They may see his flair for the game, and that may G up his players.
Ambush fans, let's get on our feet and let's make some noise!
As of right now,
this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Next goal wins.
the ambush had 5 out there right now. Almeida might just be heading back to the bench after saying some to Stints and giving him directions about what to do after his penalty expires. And yes, Almeida will just head right to the benches. It's going to be Pepe, Felipe, Duarte, and Marcos. Going to be the 4 for the ambush.
Well, I wonder how KC Comets are feeling right now. They've got to be thinking that he shouldn't have got to this point, but also they've got to be thinking for 1 minute 57 seconds, they've got a really great chance to finish this off.
Petricek's going to return to his net now. So it's going to be Gibson to start with it.
There's a lot of Comets fans over there in section 116. They're on their feet. They know it's now or never.
Gibson will start this overtime period. We'll have a 10-minute overtime period, and if necessary, a 3-round shootout. Ambush won their first game of the year in a shootout.
Yeah, it was Casey Clark with the save on Jody Gibson. Gibson, one of the all-time top goal scorers in this league. You'd have put your money on him to score, but it was Casey Clark who managed to sneak the ball off him.
The shot taken, great save by Paulo on Nacho. We'll go right back to Nacho. Gets it down low, right back to him. Goes to Rodriguez. Nacho looking like he's winding up, takes a shot, misses everything. Goes over to the far side for Palmer. It's going to be pushed away by the ambush, right back to Palmer. Looking to center it to Gibson, instead Nacho. Gets it blocked by Duarte. We'll go over to the far side where Gibson grabs it. Rodriguez with 50 seconds left. Gibson cuts in, and an unbelievable save by Paulo as he is standing tall.
He is G'd up. He bounced up after making that save. He was all ready to go.
Ball chipped over. Gibson gets his shin on that. That's going to be lifted over the net. 47 seconds left and a restart in the ambush end.
This game's got everything, man. Overhead goals, penalties.
Lifted high in the air, pushed forward by Gibson. He's going to race back to the bench. They're going to change out for Felipe.
35 seconds left on this penalty, and then we're back even.
Nacho for Rodriguez. Nacho now, down low, Togba. Over to the far side, Gibson, back for Nacho. 15 seconds remain on the penalty kill for the ambush.
10 seconds.
Nacho over. And Gibson crossfield to Togba. Couldn't settle in time, or else he could have had a one-timer. As the ambush penalty will expire. Stinson right out of the box, steals it immediately. And we're back at even strength. And he's knocked down Stinson. And it's KC with the foul. Felipe with the restart.
Well, the first part of the job's done. They got through the penalty. Now they've got to finish this off.
Back for the KC keeper, who's been all but solid tonight. I'd make him the first start regardless of who comes out of this overtime on top.
Yeah, Petrocek's been brilliant this game. I've been really, really impressed with him. Solid pickup from Cedar Rapids.
Sends it all the way down. James settling it against the glass. Being pressured though. Able to steal it is Stinson. Tried to knock it off the boards as Gibson kept it in. Now Reggett tries to send it forward, can't. Sandovari under some pressure. Reggett able to get it up to Dos Santos. And he just pushes that all the way down. That will be for Petrocek. The ambush makes some changes. Here comes Antonio Manfoot for the first time in overtime. Headed forward by the ambush. Sent right back in by KC, but that's too far into the netting, and the ambush will get the ball set up once again.
About 5 or 10 minutes immediately following tonight's game.
6:44 to go.
Please do not jump over the boards.
It's like a game I used to play back when I was a kid in the playgrounds, you know. Next goal wins.
Now Felipe sending it all the way down to Everton. Boxing out and then knocked down. No call though. KC can't get it out. Felipe stepping forward. Loose ball grabbed by KC. Manfoot tight on them though. Try to get forward. Stolen by the ambush. Lucas Almeida charges forward, a 3-on-2. He has Manfoot in Everton. He takes the shot himself right on, and an easy save for Petrocek.
Decent shot though. He made room for himself there. Almeida made his space. But yeah, he had Manfoot open on the right-hand side if he could have found him.
The ambush making some changes. Almeida will start with it. Getting it to Paulo. Paulo all the way down for Gibson. Try to redirect that with his head, and he does. Perhaps using the KC player's body to redirect that. Good save by Petrocek though. And Gibson sending it over to Palmer. Palmer the shot, and bouncing ball settled by Paulo. Halfway through this overtime, Pepe. For Paulo. Toes it in the air. Nice keep in by Palmer. But then Pepe gets around a man, then knocked down. No call for Adamson as here comes Clayton. He had an overtime goal in the Family Arena last year as he cuts to the middle, a shot blocked in front.
Clayton was quietly one of our best players last year before he got injured.
Gibson scores! Corey Adamson does it, and the ambush win in overtime!
Corey Adamson. Have some of that. And I was just talking about how Clayton is going to be an offensive threat, but it's Adamson. He's been with this team for the best part of 4 years. He has suffered. Corey Adamson has suffered some losses to Kansas City. No one will have enjoyed that more than Corey Adamson.
And just an unbelievable awareness by Gibson as he sees him breaking in, just a small touch over to him.
Corey Adamson, I tell you what, I feel sorry for Brett Petrocek though.
Absolutely.
Because if there's one guy on the KC Comets team that did not deserve to lose tonight, it would be him.
Game-winning goal.
Petrocek, the first one heading over, congratulating all the ambush players. Well, what a lights out performance by both goaltenders as they both stepped forward when their teams needed them most.
Paulo was great. Second half, Paulo was absolutely lights out himself.
As Paul is given the third star of the game.
Number 22, Zach Regan.
will get the second star of the game. And I have a feeling who the first star will be.
With the game winner, number 4, Corey Adamson.
And it is Corey Adamson with the first star of the game, as he's going to head over to Angela, and we'll send it down in a second to Angela Sharp for an interview
Fans, you just saw
with our stars of the game.
That was the first home win against the Ambush here in the new era.
The Ambush was
First win for the Ambush
17 against the Comets.
Here at the Family Arena.
That's how much the Comets had the Ambush number. This is a big win for Everton and his team going forward. And it's a great way to win. I mean, the crowd got back into it. And to win like that is everything that Everton's worked for right now with this team. They deserve this win, Patrick.
As now we're going to send it down to Angela Sharp. See, she's here with the first star of the game, Corey Adamson. Angela, back down to you.
Hey there. Thank you, Patrick and Matt. All right, I have Corey Adamson down here with me. You scored the game winner there in overtime. What was going through your mind before that shot? Don't mess up. Don't mess up. That seems pretty simplistic right there. Now the other team, the Comets had you guys in that whole first half. What woke up the Ambush during the second half?
Really intense halftime speech. And then again, just getting back to what we've been doing every single day in practice is trying to keep the ball, making ourselves dangerous by getting the ball in deep, making runs into the box. I mean, how many times did we crash the box today with bodies flying everywhere? Credit to the Comets. I don't know how they're still standing. But, we clawed back into it one goal at a time, one goal at a time, one goal at a time. We didn't keep the highs too high, the lows too low. We just kept going. And eventually we got our chance to score and won it. So
That I love very much. That you guys kept in it. You never kind of lost faith in your team. What are you guys going to work on practice so that maybe the next game can be a little less of a nail biter for us?
Number 1, finishing. Number 2, making sure that this guy doesn't have to stand on his head the way he did the entire game, because that guy was unbelievable.
Woohoo! We're getting one over here. I love it. All right, we got to come to you because you were outstanding today in net. How do you stay focused when you have so many shots coming at you back and forth like that?
These guys are unbelievable. Help me a lot all the time. This victory is for you, for me, for everyone. I love you. I love you, Ambush. Thanks for coming. Yeah.
You like the crowd. The crowd had you in. The crowd had your back, right?
All right, perfect. I love everyone.
And then we got to pull Zach in over here. Zach, you tied the game at the 4. You tied the game at the 5. What was your motivation to stay in this game?
Just keep going. These guys are incredible. Keeps us all together, and it was great. Great win. Great team win.
We love that. I'm going to throw it back up to Patrick and Matt right now for the end of that pregame show.
All right, thank you, Angie.
And fans, don't forget, you guys can come down here after the
Ambush.
game.
Matt, your final thoughts on this incredible game?
How many times last year did we have some absolute heartbreakers? You know, the team deserved this. Shelley deserves this. Brian Roth deserves this. Dr. Perez deserves this. The team, the players, they deserve this win.
I think we deserve it too, don't you?
You know what? We had some heartbreakers.
We deserve it.
We had to put some silver linings on a lot of clouds last year, and it's really great not to have to do this. First game of the season at home, to come away smiling, this massive crowd, they're smiling. Hopefully they'll come back. You know, Ross McGregor down there, ruptured his ACL. He's happy. Phenomenal stuff.
So wherever life leads, your home follows.
That's how we will wrap up the broadcast as Kansas City. Your next game will be Saturday, December 22nd in Kansas City against the Ambush. Then they come back here Saturday, December 29th versus Kansas City, right back here as the Ambush win it overtime 6-5. I believe we're going to send it down to Angela for one more interview. Angela?
All right, I am down here with Brian Perez, captain of the Comets. You guys had control that whole first half. What happened to you guys during the second half?
Well, the fatigue from playing in 2 games before this, it really took a toll from us. But we just lack of legs and fitness. But we'll try to bounce back.
That happens to you guys after a couple games back to back like that. Now you had a lot of penalty calls on you. A man was ejected. You have a bench warning. Is that typical, or is that something you're going to work on to kind of clean all that up a little bit?
Absolutely, we got to stay disciplined, and whether the call was wrong or right, we got to stay disciplined. So that's something definitely, yes, we will work on that.
That was a very diplomatic way to say that, which I enjoy. We appreciate your time. Thank you for coming out and chatting with me. What is that thing you're going to work for the next week?
Well, get back our legs and, focus on the next game.
A little rest and focus. We like that. Back to you, Patrick and Matt.
Right? You can tell he's disappointed. He can't believe they've lost that game. You can hear it.
I missed it. I missed it, didn't I, over here? The People's Choice gave away their award a little sooner than I could get over here. I was going to give you a microphone. We were going to have a conversation. So who ended up getting that People's Choice belt?
So one Mr. Paulo Vitor got the People's Champ Award for the 105 because of the work he did keeping us in the game.
I like that. I heard all the cheers while he stood up here and accepted his belt. He put that on for you guys too, right?
He's amazing. He's just another brick in the wall. That is Paulo Vitor. He is another brick in the wall.
Now, is this something you guys are going to do every game? Give out a People's Choice?
It's a People's Champ.
I'm sorry. It's the People's Champ, hence the belt. I'm not really a wrestling fan. I got you.
Hey, he's a champ tonight. The first night when they won against Orlando, Casey Clark got the belt. I don't know if everybody saw, but Casey played amazing. Then Jer got the belt. And now Paulo Vitor's got the belt. And we're going to win games this year, and the King's making a prediction.
Now I'm worried.
The King wants some playoffs. We want playoffs.
I love it. Make sure you guys make your way down here. You guys can meet the team, take photos, autographs. You're going to have to go down those main stairs and make your way right on down here.